Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. The demand grows for AJ versus Wilder. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised. And the reason I'm not surprised is because both of these guys still have the power. Now, we all know what Deontay Wilder and how he's looked in his last few fights. You can actually go back and let's timeline it from Tyson Fury, those first three fights. You can argue that he lost all three, not just that first fight shouldn't have been a draw, okay? Some people say that he lost those three, then he came back and beat Hellenius, that's four, then he lost to Parker, and he lost to Jay. So they're saying his last six fights, he only has one. So he's, 5 losses, 1 win in his last 6 fights. That's how some people see it. Now with AJ, no doubt, he won against Franklin. He won against Hellenius. He beat Wallen, and he, beat Ngannou, and he hands down got clipped by Dubois. But if you look at the opponents AJ faced, Eddie Hearn was very careful with the matchmaking to ensure Anthony Joshua was able to get wins, but only rebuild his confidence, right? But that being said, I think when you still talk about a guy like Wilder and a guy like AJ, right? The positions they're in, I think AJ's in a much better position because in his next fight, he can, no kidding, fight Tyson Fury and make a whole bunch of money, okay? Even if he loses, he can still make a bunch of money, and then he has a fight again. Like, AJ can't just stop boxing. But let's say in a world where he can stop boxing, at least he can sail off into the sunset, although coming off of a loss, making huge money. Now, you look at Deontay Wilder. Look, just by the virtue of his name, Wilder is a guy there's still some big opportunities out there for him, but in his next fight, he can't come back and fight a big name like a Tyson Fury or anyone that's going to, deliver him a handsome payday like what Anthony Joshua is going to get if he and Tyson Fury get in the ring together. Wilder doesn't have that luxury. As a result, Wilder could get in there with somebody who just happens to get the stars to line up, and they clip Wilder. And I'm telling you, Deontay Wilder is in a must-win fight. Now, how much money he's making, I don't know. But I know for a fact he's not making the kind of money AJ would make if AJ and Fury fight. Simple. So if Wilder loses, he probably makes good money, but not great money. And then more than likely he has to retire. If AJ loses, he makes great money, he retires, whatever. But he can't retire because he got to keep fighting because he signed that contract with DAZN. But in a perfect world, you would like to see Wilder and AJ fight each other. Because I'm telling you, there's an interest there. Eddie Hearn is talking about it again. But, hey, everybody is saying, look, we want to see AJ and Wilder fight. However, Wilder has to get back to his winning ways. And not just winning. Nobody wants to see Wilder come out here and start coochie-cooing people and boxing to a decision. People fell in love with Deontay Wilder. The demand to see him in the ring was not because he boxes to a decision. It's because he knocks people out. Wilder must knock people out. That's like a curse, you know what I'm saying? Especially the point he's at in his career. Y'all got to understand, Wilder's almost 40. And it could be that he's just looking his age. You remember there was a time where they were talking about Joe Joyce. It was like Wilder's freakish power would be amazing up against Joe Joyce's freakish durability. But Joe Joyce lost, 3 of his last 4 fights? He's about 40 years old now. Wilder's lost, some would say, 5 of his last 6. He's about 40 years old now. So it could be that these guys are just looking their age. But the crazy thing is, there's still big opportunities out there for Wilder but he's got to get back to winning. AJ still has big opportunities out there. You know, fortunately for him, he doesn't have to get back to winning. He just has to seal the deal on a fight with Tyson Fury. Now, financially speaking, if Wilder gets a win, I think there's going to be huge money there for him, especially if he gets a knockout. It's just like right now, no one thinks very highly of Puff Daddy. But if Puff Daddy somehow gets through all this crap that he has going on, people will forget about it because he'll be back on top. People will forget about it. They'll be focused on what he's doing now. Same thing with Wilder. People will forget about the fact that he looks sloppy. He's got knocked out. If he can come back and get a win, they'll set all that aside. Just like R. Kelly. Everybody knew R. Kelly was a goddamn freak, pissing on them goddamn girls. But he got away with it out there doing music. People forgot about him. Now he's back in trouble. He's up shit creek. Probably didn't get out of prison. But that being said, is the boxing fans are very forgiving and forgetful. And they just deal with what's in front of them. And like they say, you're only as good as your last fight. And that's a true statement, man. But we will see if there are going to be any drives to push forward a Wilder and AJ fight. I personally think AJ should fight a softer touch than going against Fury. But he got to deliver, man. And if he takes another soft touch, a Jermaine Franklin type fight like what he's taken before, I think the ultimate fight to make, if he can win in an impressive fashion, if Wilder can win in impressive fashion, is to finally put together a long overdue fight of Wilder and AJ and getting that scrap popping. I really think that's the fight to make for the fans. But when you look at the money, AJ's about the dough, Fury's about the dough, Matchroom, everybody's about the money. It's really AJ against Tyson Fury. But we'll see. Because I'm going to tell you right now, no matter how old Wilder gets, AJ's getting up there too. The last thing to go for a fighter is their power, is their punch. And I definitely believe that's true because you look at what George Foreman was able to come back and do at his advanced age and still become a champion. But anyway, we'll sit back and we'll watch these guys fight and we'll see what happens. I just think if Wilder goes the distance, I would take that. I would say that's more like a loss. Same thing as losing a fight. If AJ comes back and doesn't fight Fury and he fights, C-level type fighter and goes the distance, I would say that's the same thing as him taking a loss. Neither one of these guys can afford to return and get a decision. They need to return and knock somebody out. That way boxing fans will look at that fight and focus on that fight and talk about how these guys are vicious, they're back, etc. Instead of looking at them and say, they can't even get a win or get a knockout against a C-level fighter, and now these guys should retire. Anyway, I think Wilder is capable of ending fights. I think AJ is still capable of ending fights. But if anyone has really shown in the last couple of fights that they have that capability, I would have to say Joshua probably shown it more than Wilder, because at least AJ will let his hands go. Even when he lost to Dubois, he hurt Dubois. He clipped the ball with that right hand, and the ball was sliding that damn left foot across the ring like he had just stepped in dog shit and was trying to remove it from his shoe. Wilder has not shown anything at all. When he fought Zhang, I think there was one point, it looked like he hurt Zhang with a shot. But Wilder was so anxious and scared and all over the place that he, just lunged in with his hands down. And man, Zhang timed him and tranquilized him. Anyway, the demand is growing for AJ against Wilder. And I'm going to tell you this, man. I wonder if Wilder can return and show the power. I think he can get some momentum going. If AJ can return and show the power, I think he can get some momentum going. But if both of them can show some serious power in the next fights and win by knockout, I think there's going to be a little bit of intimidation there on both ends, because Water gonna be like, and Malik Scott, especially freaking Malik, gonna be like, shit, AJ out here knocking people out cold. And AJ and his team and Eddie Hearn, especially those scary ass Eddie Hearn, gonna be like, shit, Water still got that power. And you know, Water got fast hands. And I could see where if those guys fought each other, man, they're gonna be two scary asses in there because neither one gonna want to get hit. Because if AJ hit Wilder, he'll knock him out. But if Wilder hit AJ, he'll knock him out. And that's what makes the fight so intriguing for me. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. The demand is growing for AJ to face Wilder, but you know they got to get wins. But I tell you what, if they both come back and knock people out, both of them will be scared to sign that contract because neither one of them they really can't afford to take any more losses, especially by knockout. You know, like it. They just have to admit it. They can't afford to lose no more. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. All 7 continents. In the breeze.